Amy is with us in Dallas. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mr. Ramsey. And Rachel, I have to say I love that you're on because I, too, like to spend a portion of my entertainment budget at the craps table, even though Mr. Ramsey doesn't approve.
This is not the way to start out the call, Amy.
I'm sorry.
I was like, Dave is dying right now.
Amy, you started out in the hole, okay?
Amy,
now you got to dig out.
Amy could have said conspiracy theories, craps, or Love is Blind, and I would have been like, this is my girl.
I am on baby step 7. I'm 33 years old.
Nice.
I think I have a pretty good net worth of around $2 million. So I'm hoping I'm getting better on your graces.
In spite of your problem with the craps, okay.
Yeah. But
That's
I'm
fun.
kind of just, so I'm an engineer. My husband's an engineer. We're very process-oriented people. We're just kind of struggling. Like, we just read The Legacy Journey, and, what our next, goal should be. We really don't want to be landlords. No offense.
That's okay. I'm not offended.
But, right now we're just, we got pretty substantial raises this year, so we're going to make $30,000 more than we made last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there's just more money coming in, and we're like, I guess we're just saving more.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great. You've done such an amazing job. Congratulations.
I mean, y'all are the everyday millionaire of, or baby steps millionaire of
both. Yeah.
Sure.
But
sure.
and two engineers, though.
Baby step 2.
Yeah, two engineers. I mean, everything. You're like the classic textbook.
Except the fact that you're 33. Yeah, way to go. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
your biggest problem is it's just you're overwhelmed with prosperity in a sense.
Right. Yes. And obviously we're Christians and
Mm-hmm.
and we give, and I even put in my budget random giving above
Mm-hmm.
the 10%. And so it's just, and now I just feel like there's just our last goal was paying off our house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was making sure
Mm-hmm.
our kids' college fund is set and we don't have to touch it forever. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, now what?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Amy, at this point, I mean, you really, we always say the 3 things you can do with money. You can give it, you can save and invest it, and you can spend it. And so you need to be doing all 3 of those. So I love that you upped your giving, because that's a big part of this, right? That you live like no one else. So later you live and give like no one else, right? So having that flow out is going to be amazing, Amy. You're going to run into things, and God's going to put things in your path that you didn't even realize was there, and it's going to come up, and you're going to be able to write a check, or you're going to be able to help someone in a significant way, which is just so fun. And so you're going to get to experience that on a new level. And then, I think continuing to invest. So if real estate's not something that you're like, oh, you feel, great about, or you guys want to do, obviously just even opening up a mutual fund, talking to a Smart Investor Pro, and continuing to put money in just investing is something that you could look at. But if you guys, I don't know, if you have an interest of you want to, I never know what you think
Maybe
about
a
this
big
stuff.
trip.
But
I don't know.
yeah, well, that's the spend category. So I
So-
want you to up your lifestyle for sure. Yes. And y'all enjoy
Which
some of
maybe
this.
that's our problem.
Okay. Let me
because we
tell
haven't
you.
since we
Let me tell
started.
you what's happening, because it's happened to me years ago, and I watch it happen when I'm working with people hit these the Baby Steps Millionaires goals, and they get where you are. Okay. What happens is there's 2 things. One is you had this hard concrete goal, and it was the end of the race, and you broke through the tape. And you're like, okay, I need a goal, because this feels like I'm just kind of floating out here. That's thing one that happens, this sense of disconnect, because you were so connected to and driven towards a goal. Now there's nothing, and it's just floating, and that's very disconcerting. The second thing that happens is, and this is more pronounced than that one. That one you do get over fairly quickly just by getting another goal. But the second thing that happens is when you haven't been around this many zeros, you emotionally, it takes a little while to get used to it. I mean, I'll give you an example. Around here, I mean, the Ramsey organization is several $100 million a year in revenue, and so we spend more on copier paper than I used to make in a year. We spend more on coffee than some people make in a year. I mean, it's just nuts, just because of the scale, right? And it's hard to get used to, even today. And I've been doing it for 30 years, So, but today I look down at our profit and loss statement and I see the bill for coffee, and I'm like, jeez, And it's an emotional experience. I go, I'm a kid from Antioch, Tennessee. We spent that on coffee, and it's just kind of weird. It's an emotional thing. So it takes a little while for your emotions to catch up with your math, for you to get used to buying something that cost $30,000 and you don't even feel it, like most people buying a candy bar. Okay? Because that's the position you're moving into. You're going to be able to go and buy an item or a thingy of some kind, a trip, whatever, just to enjoy, just to consume. That is a large amount of money compared to the way you grew up, compared to what you've always been up to this date. But it's a small amount of money relative mathematically to where you are. And so you still have this like, oh my gosh, and so I was with a guy. I'll give you an extreme example of that. Okay. I was with a guy not long ago who made $15 million last year. He's killing it. Okay. And actually would know his name if I said it. So I'm not going to say it, but he drove up to my house in a car that cost $300,000. And we were having this exact discussion because the car is freaking killer.
It better be.
Unbelievable car, And
Better
but
fly.
we're standing there looking at this, and he goes, "Man, I grew up in ... And he goes, I can't get my head around the fact that I just bought this car and I just drove it up here in your house." He goes, "I feel like kind of dirty, like I did something wrong." And I went, "Well, let's do the percentages. $300,000 as a percentage of 15 million. Okay, it's like buying a $30,000 car if you made $1.5 million, a $3,000 car if you made $150,000. It's the same ratios.
Right.
So did you do something wrong? No, I didn't. He's not out of line. It's a small, but people say stuff like, "No one needs a car like that." Well, for him, it's like buying a biscuit. It doesn't show up. It doesn't move the needle. And so that's where it is with you. Your emotions are having that same kind of a thing. When you invest a large sum, give a large sum. I mean, the first time I gave $10,000 to something, my mind was blown. I was like, whoa, and because it was the most I had ever done, and it was not an emotional amount I was used to. And so that's what you're experiencing. So expect to feel disconnected until you have a good goal, and expect for it to be emotionally disconcerting for a little while as you lay out and say, we're going to spend X on enjoyment, we're going to spend Y on investing, and we're going to spend Z on giving, and you're going to increase all of those, and they're going to be uncomfortable.
Yes. So Amy, I would say, like, my husband and I, we always kind of have a goal. We have a goal within a 12, 24-month period that we can hit, whether it's a new car or we want to do, a certain trip, or I don't know, put in a pool. Like, I don't know what it is. A house was a big one for us. So in 2019 is when we moved in, but that was a goal we had for years to do that. So find the thing you and your husband, I'm assuming, I'm going to assume you're married. I think you said that, but
yeah, sure. Two engineers.
That's right. That you guys are excited about. Like, have that goal that yes, putting money in a mutual fund, all of that, but that goal, there's still something energizing that you have to be able to shoot for. So find something that you and your husband agree, like, that's fun. Maybe it's building your dream home. Like, I don't care what it is, but there's something out there that you look at and you guys are continuing to work and be intentional. And then on the lifestyle side, I would force yourself to spend a certain amount of money every month just to get used to it, because you can, and you should be able to enjoy it too.